Ready? Welcome back to the Black Girl Experience. I'm your host, Jasmine Danielle. I like the way I'm looking on here. Cute. I'm looking cute. I'm not even gonna lie. My heart is beating fast right now just because of what happened on the way here. Like, first of all, y'all know that I'm a Pisces sun, Gemini moon, Leo rising. Um, but I'm a super emotional person. Like, I'm an empath. I can definitely empathize with people's emotions and their energy very easily. And I'm telling y'all, like my voice is breaking too. But I took a lift here, and when I got in, the dude had told, I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, I just relocated here from Detroit, blah, blah, blah. He like, dang, for real? He all dapped me up. He like, I'm from Flint. I'm like, that's what's up. So it was just cool at first, just a little like, mini conversation, nothing too crazy. And then I don't even know how it got. Oh, he started telling me, he was like, yeah, I wouldn't really advise that you tell people that you're not from here. Cause you know what I'm saying? People might try to take advantage of you or whatever and blah, blah. And he was just kind of talking about some little hood shit, gang shit type shit. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm a woman, so I don't really think I have to deal with that. But then the conversation kind of turned, and he had mentioned that, years ago, he had a girlfriend that would drug him. And he talked about how, like, he had actually died for a second. Like, it got so deep, and the whole conversation just turned to God and, like, really having God in you and being able to separate yourself from situations and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's so crazy that you tell me this right now. And, I didn't even tell him what I was coming here to talk about or do or whatever, but it really just confirmed some things for me as far as like having God in you and having good energy and not, mixing and meshing with the wrong people with bad energies and shit like that, because that shit is real, especially if you've experienced it firsthand. And it's not a game. It's not a game. But it was just very interesting that came about. And so anyway, back to like the intro real quick. I know y'all are like, where the fuck have you been? We miss you. I have been neglecting the podcast like a bad fucking parent. But man, I understand why I understand why I was away. Like, I was going through some shit. And another thing is, like, I feel like I always get in these moments or phases when I feel like when I don't feel inspired to create, or like don't have ideas to come up with for the podcast or whatever. And I was in that space for a minute. I'm talking about for months I was feeling like that. But a lot of it was because of what I was going through, what I was dealing with, the energy that I had around me. You know what I'm saying? But also, now that I'm looking back at it in retrospect, I needed to go through those things in order to come back to the podcast, to have something to say, to have something to share for the Black Girl Experience. You got to experience life. You got to go through the shit. And I think another thing that I have an issue with is like, nobody signs up to be a role model. You know what I'm saying? Celebrities don't sign a contract to be like, hey, I'm here to, be the best role model for your kid. It's on the parents to raise their kids or whatever. And even though that's not exactly the same thing, I kind of feel that way about myself sometimes with the podcast. Like, I know that I have a platform. I know that I have a voice. I know that I have people that like look up to me or look to me for advice and all of that. And a lot of times I don't want to be put up on a pedestal because I'm human and I make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a certain amount of like embarrassment and shame that comes along with being a human. You know what I'm saying? Like going through shit. Cause I don't, and that's the thing. I'm not trying to appear perfect to the world, but I just feel like I have to be on a certain type of path or a straight and narrow path. You know what I'm saying? With what I'm talking about. to the people that listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, so a lot of times I'm talking about, spirituality or relationships and shit like that. And it's like, you can't be giving advice about relationships and shit and you out here in toxic relationships consciously, willingly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but at the end of the day, I'm a human and I make mistakes. And, you got to experience life in order to be able to even share your story or share the lessons that you took from it or whatever. So that's that. I'm in Dallas now. I'm enjoying it. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, a little bit. Not a little, a lot of it. It's been a roller coaster ride. And that's what I'm here to share. I really don't even know where to start with all this shit for real. It's just so crazy. But I guess let's just take it from the top. I've been here for 3 months now. But what I want to share with y'all has been the last 8 months of my life. And it's been very fucking crazy. I am like researching and learning shit about this every day because it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And it was a lot to deal with. But we're going to start from the top. Get your notepads out and your pen. Today we are going to be talking about narcissistic abusive relationships. And I feel like the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot. Like if you on TikTok or just social media, like that shit does get thrown around a lot. And I will say that I didn't really become privy to it for real until maybe like a few years ago. But I was aware that I have narcissists in my family. I was aware that I've dated men with narcissistic tendencies or people that are narcissists and stuff like that. But baby, this situation took the cake, okay? Like it never experienced nothing like this in my life. Never want to ever again. I'm not going to ever again. But also, I feel like it is my duty to share my experience about it, to one, be able to raise awareness for people, especially women. You know what I'm saying? Because we go through a lot in relationships. And even if you know about it or know what it is or have experienced it yourself or in a relationship like that right now, bro, leave. Get out immediately for real. Like, so yeah. So we gonna take it back to 8 months ago. So, well, first of all, let me start here. Like I said, I have narcissists in my family. And, I'm going to try not to put too much out there. And, everybody is the villain in somebody's story. And that's just what it is. But a lot of people don't want to take accountability for their actions or their ways. Or, it might be some people that watch this, even in my family, that are not going to be happy with what I'm saying. But it's my truth. You know what I'm saying? This is my experience, period. So I want to start off by saying that my dad is a narcissist. Love him from the bottom of my heart, but it is what it is. And I'm not even going to go too deep into that. But what I will say about him is that, if y'all don't know, for the most part of my childhood, like my dad pretty much raised me from the time that I was like in 5th grade till I graduated from high school. And my dad was always in different relationships. And anytime that the relationship ended, boom, he was into a new one. Boom, he was into a new one. Boom, like never took no time to heal for himself, never took time. I don't even understand that. I don't understand people that cannot be alone. Like, you don't even want to be alone. You don't. Never taking time for himself. He's always been in a relationship. That's number one. Number two, very toxic relationships. I witnessed a lot growing up, and I feel like he really wants to like shut down and invalidate what I feel is true for me about what I seen, what I witnessed, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that on the Black Girl Experience. You could do it in my face all you want. You could tell me what I didn't see, whatever. Jasmine, you're making gas lighting. This is what I'm, bro. You whatever is true for you is true for you, but you cannot change my truth. So he was in a lot of toxic relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so the crazy part is, growing up, me and my dad had a really great relationship. I always felt like that was my road dog. My dad is my best friend. I guess you could say that I was spoiled. Like, I never really wanted for anything. He always got me everything that I want. Like, whatever. Like, we had a good relationship. The way that he treated his women, though, not cool. You know what I'm saying? But as a child, as a young girl, I don't really have much to say about that. You know, I don't really have an opinion about it. I don't really understand it until I become a young woman myself. A lot of things don't start making sense until you grow up, you know? But yeah, just a lot of toxicity, a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of all of that. So in my mind, growing up and seeing that, consciously seeing that, I was always like, I don't ever want to be in a relationship like that. I don't ever want to have a spouse and have to argue and fight or be physical, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never wanted those things for myself, ever. But I think on a subconscious, look, a homegirl that's dealt with narcissistic, not trying to put her on blast. I'm actually recording right now, and I'm talking about narcissistic abuse. Wait, she said put her on speaker. I don't know if you, let me see. Say what's up to the pod.
What's the deal?
No, and this is not even like, we both laughing like it's not funny, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I know so many people that have dealt with this type of situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, hold it up close. He said hold it up closer to the mic. So yeah, I just told him when you called, I was like, this is my homegirl. I'm like, that actually knows about narcissistic abuse. Like,
Oh yes, that is wild that I called you during this your podcast. What's up, y'all?
what's the deal? What should I ask you?
Right, I'm tapping in.
Right. What do you think is the hardest part about what, I don't know, or what was the hardest part about what you went through with that situation?
I think for me the hardest part was, coming to terms with like the whole situation, the whole right. So like from the outside looking in, people look at me like, oh, she got it all together. Like she has this self esteem. Like ain't no way a nigga gonna be dogging her out like that. And not to say in a sense that I was being dogged out by the nigga, but I couldn't come to nobody with what I was going on. So I think that what was going on. So I think for me the hardest part with dealing with somebody like that was just really like coming to terms with what was going on and not blaming myself about it.
Yeah.
For anybody else, they'd be like, I would have just left. Like,
And that's the thing. That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, it's easy to say that, but to actually be in it and experience it and understand that everything that goes into it, the lies, the manipulation, the control, the betrayal,
it's so many webs. It's so many webs.
It's so much. Yeah, like, it's so crazy.
I'm still dealing with the same person I don't even talk to, still dealing with the situation where like they don't want to let go. They don't want to do right, but they don't want to let go. And it's like, just leave me alone. I'm not bothering you.
Leave me alone. I literally just posted a video on Instagram just now, like, if I'm not bothering you, why are you bothering me? Because I'm still being bothered. I'm still being bothered. But
and it's also just unfortunate that people like, they're so fast to be like, oh well, everybody's a narcissist and all you can't, and it's like no, like
that's what I was just saying. Like I feel like the term gets thrown around a lot, but when you really experience it, like no, it's next level, bro. It's next level.
It's like you in a sunken place. You don't know.
Yeah.
And then as you're starting to climb out of it, you like, oh my gosh, like I allowed this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm still in the beginning I'm still talking about my dad right now and the relationships that I saw growing up and how I think subconsciously that did something to me.
No, it does. That's the trauma that we have to
Yeah.
unpack, and unfortunately, it happens when it's not done the right way. But I love you. I was just
Love you too.
calling 'cause,
I'll hit you up when I'm done.
Yes. All right, y'all.
All
Y'all
right.
have a good one.
Bye.
All right. Peace.
So yeah, told y'all this shit is real. Like I have so many Oh, okay. We wanna have people call in. Look, let me get on live then real quick. Okay. Okay. Um let me ask her if she gonna wanna call back in. Um call in. But give me a sec. So yeah, back to I'll do that in a second. Um yeah, so subconsciously I think that that did something to me. Seeing that, and like I said, being a kid, like, you don't really understand everything, but as you get older and you recognize the patterns and stuff like that in your dating life. And let me say this, because I don't want people to be like, oh well, you a common denominator, because I absolutely am. That's the same thing I told my dad, because I remember one time he tried to tell me like, oh, everybody that I dated was just crazy and da da da, and everything was their fault. And I'm like, bro, you're the common denominator. At some point, it's not everybody else, bro. You played a part. So I do want to say that, and I think that I do that a lot. I'm proud of myself because I feel like I always take accountability. I always take accountability for the roles that I play and the shit that I be in. Like, you got to understand that you are a co-creator in every situation in your life. So don't run from that. So I absolutely take accountability. I think that I attract these certain type of individuals. Again, gotta unpack that trauma, gotta unpack, just learn behaviors and the shit that I saw. I think that's a part of it. But I absolutely take accountability for being in the situations that I've been in. Even with my child's father, we ain't gonna dig all the way into that, but that situation too, like it's definitely a pattern. It's definitely a pattern. So, all right, are we gonna jump in now to 8 months ago? I guess so. So 8 months ago was February 2023. At that time, I was finishing up yoga teacher training. I became a yoga instructor. I started working at a yoga studio in Detroit, and a part of that, was really big for me because I really thought I wasn't gonna have to work no full-time job ever again, which is actually kind of crazy to probably think that. But, I'm also an entrepreneur. I got Black girl experience. I've really been trying to get this shit off the ground for 5 years now, but whatever. But y'all know I'm not really a 9 to 5 type person. So I was going down that avenue to really find something that I love to do, all of that, whatever. But at the end of the day, just being a yoga teacher itself is not going to pay the bills. It's not. It's absolutely not. But I love it to death. So I became a yoga teacher. I was finishing that up, good shit, whatever. Still looking for jobs in Detroit. And if you don't know, or if you do know, if you're a faithful listener and keep up with the pod, y'all know that I have already moved out of state twice. So I've already tried this before. But, just trying to find my path, trying to find my way, trying to find my footing, whatever. Let me not say nobody. I don't want to live in Detroit for the rest of my life. I've lived there for 33 years, you know what I'm saying? So it was always a plan to get the fuck on again, period. So I finished up with that. And, I'm an Instagram girl. Not like that, but I love Instagram. I spend a lot of my time there. So, on the following feed is going to show you what you're most interested in. There's an algorithm. So most of my shit on my following feed is like nails, probably hair shit, yoga shit, working out, like that type of shit. Little motivational quotes, little funny memes. Like that's all my following feed is. So one day I came across this guy's page, and it was a video of him talking about like he was waking up every day at 3 a.m. to do yoga and whatever. And so I went on his page and I'm like, oh, this nigga like the real deal. Like this nigga really do yoga. And to me, that's intriguing because number one, a lot of black people don't do yoga. Not that I know of, for real. And yoga is on the come up in Detroit, but you know, a lot of black people don't really do yoga, and that's the thing. Like in the yoga world, I feel like there's not a lot of representation for black people in the yoga world. And shout out to Glow with Ro Fitness on Instagram. That's my homegirl from she in Cali now, but she's doing yoga now. She's a fitness instructor and she's a yoga instructor, and like she found a space for created a space, I should say, for black people. And shout out to all my yogis and, you know, all of that, all y'all. But anyway, so I'm looking at this guy's page and I'm like, he's the real deal. Like, you know, he really do yoga for real. And to me, that's, like I said, I'm very intrigued because a lot of black people, let alone black men, are not doing yoga. So I'm already like, okay. So I'm just scrolling this page, and then he was talking about how like he was on the run, and I guess that's why he started doing yoga, because he was on the run trying to find some type of peace or whatever. Saw that he had did a significant amount of time in jail at one point in his life, but turned his life around and was saying that yoga changed his life. So I'm like, that's dope. I probably liked a couple of videos. I think I commented on one. Then he hopped in my DM and asked me where I was from. So, you know, West Side 7 Mile, Better Miles. Like, no, I'm just playing. But no, I'm like, I'm from Detroit, whatever. So we get to chatting in the DM or whatever. And, you know, I'm just like, you know, that's real cool what you doing. Like, I really admire that, blah, 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 whatever. So, you know, it was just cool. And then, like, I don't know, I feel like I was like commenting on, or, you know, just responding to his stories and shit like that. He told me that he lived in Dallas, but he wasn't from there. He had like moved there 2 years ago, was in school, working, whatever, just all this shit, all this good shit, right? And I'm like, cool. So then, of course, it's like, oh, like I don't know, I got to come to Dallas one day. But I always had said that I wanted to come to Texas, specifically Houston. But I'm like, yeah, I want to come to Dallas one day. And then, you know, let's go do yoga together, whatever. So we're chatting about that. And then it was just little shit. You know, I'm real big on the synchronicities and all of that. I'm like, that's crazy that we got the same initials. That's crazy that both of our birthdays are in March. That's crazy that we both Pisces. That's crazy. Like, just all this little weird shit. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And we talking about angel numbers and twin flames and all this bullshit, whatever, right? And so yeah, we said something about me coming to Dallas. So at this point, we have exchanged phone numbers. We talking on the phone, we texting, we're FaceTiming, we're doing all of the things. I'm not gonna lie. I was on it a little harder than him at first, and he was being like very modest. And I'm not gonna lie, with guys, that kind of be a turn on. Like when nobody wants a nigga that's thirsty. You know, it's like, you know. So he was kind of modest, but I think it was because of his situation. So he wasn't in a relationship, but he had a little situation or whatever. And so he wasn't that forthcoming about that at first, but later on down the line that came out. But anyway, so we're talking basically every day, like we kicking it. You know what I'm saying? We're kicking it pretty tough. So tough enough to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm going to fly out there for a weekend. And mind you, I've never done no shit like this. Like, but nigga, I'm living life. You know, YOLO, you only live once. So, fuck it. I booked the flight to go to Dallas. I was supposed to be coming here St. Patrick's Day weekend. And I also need to pull my phone out because I have some. First of all, this right here is all of the. First, we gonna get to that in a minute. That was just little stuff that I wrote down because I didn't want to forget anything. So I might have to go back and review that, or maybe I'll just talk about that at the end. I don't know. But so I booked the flight. I am aware of his little situation or whatever at this point. And I guess once he started talking to me, he started moving funny in his situation, and so. But they were, according to him, they weren't together. I don't know if they ever. Whatever, niggas be lying. I don't know, but I can't really speak on that situation. But whatever. So he started moving funny. That situation kind of like fizzled out. So, again, we're talking every day. Whatever. One thing that a couple things I'll say. Pay attention to the red flags. Write that down. Pay attention to the red flags. Don't stick around to see how red the flag could get. Take off the rose-colored glasses. Stop acting like it's pink. It's fuchsia. It's magenta. It's like, pay attention to the red flags. Number 2. What you accept or allow or tolerate is what the fuck is gonna happen. It's not gonna get better. It's only gonna get worse. So you gotta put your foot down and stand on all 10. Like, I'm not going for it. That's what, like, it's really one and done. It should really be one and done. You know what I'm saying? People do make mistakes, but also things are choices. It's a choice. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you really love somebody, if you really care about somebody, you're not going to intentionally try to hurt them. You're not going to purposely do things. You're not going to play them little ass kid games with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're grown. We're grown. And even as a kid, I don't even respect that as a kid. Even like, I thought about this the other day. Sidebar. You know what I don't like about niggas is that I hate when niggas try to play the card. They play the high school card. Like, if you dated a dude in high school or whatever, and not necessarily me. I was thinking about one of my homegirls with this situation. Like, I ain't gonna lie, this nigga dogged her out. Like, just treated her like trash for real. And she's a very good person. And it's like, niggas always be like, well, that's when I was young. That's when, like, but you know right from wrong. You don't have to mistreat. You know, like, I don't like that. But anyway, so yeah, so pay attention to the red flags, and it should really just be one and done. You fuck over once, that's too bad. You're X'd out. You lost your chance. So I done booked the flight, and I want to say like 2 little incidents happened, like where I just was like, you're disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Just some little subtle shit. But it's like, bro, you're disrespectful. And I don't care if we're not in a relationship. It's just certain things that you don't do or say to people. You know what I'm saying? Just out of respect, period. And the fact that he thought that was okay. And the fact that I was, and this is the thing. So after these 2 little incidents happened, I don't know how far apart they were, but whatever. It happened, and I remember I blocked him on everything. This is after I booked the flight. I blocked him on everything. Instagram, on my phone. I'm like, you're disrespectful. Like, so I want to say like maybe the next day he called me. Private, of course. And, dang, you blocked me and da-da-da-da. We had, I don't know, over an hour-long conversation, whatever. I don't even remember what the whole conversation was, if he actually apologized. I don't really remember, but, so he wanted to get back in my good graces. Oh, and after I blocked him, I canceled the flight. I was like, it's no way. So, okay, sidebar, another thing. I canceled the flight. I ended up booking a flight to go to Atlanta to visit my cousin that weekend. Another red flag to me was that he will always, anytime that he talked about anybody that he dated in the past or the situation before me or whatever, he will always say stuff like, yeah, well, I got everything I could up out of her. And I'm like, that sounds like you're a user. Like, are you using people? Like, it was just all these little different situations, and I'm like, he sound like he be using people. And so again, we didn't, you know what I'm saying? We didn't kicked it, whatever. Whatever, we locked in to a certain extent, and we didn't made, plan like yoga plans and content plans and all of this. So when that happened and I blocked him and I canceled the flight, I'm like, man, he was probably gonna try to use me. You know what I'm saying? So I just had all this in my head. And again, this is my intuition telling me this and whatever. Like, girl, leave it alone, whatever. So anyway, so after that, we had ended up, like I said, he had called me. We ended up talking again. I unblocked him. I ended up going to Atlanta that weekend. And I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't really a good trip. The weather was shitty. I didn't really want to be there. I talked to him the whole time that I was there. He was calling me like crazy. I'm like, not you calling me. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you should be here. You should be here. Blah, 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 whatever. So, I vividly remember the conversations that we had when I was there. Like, so mind y'all, even though I'm telling y'all the last 8 months of my life. So all of this shit happened super fast. That's another red flag. Narcissistic relationships, that type of shit, it moves very fast. So, and not to say that it was just him moving fast, because it was me too, but still, that's a red flag. So mind you, like, we really kicking it tough. Like we're talking for real. And so we're talking about like I said, I've moved out of the state twice before. That I never planned on staying in Detroit. I'm still like, I want to go somewhere else again. And just whatever, start over, new opportunities, blah, 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 all of that. So one of the things that we was talking about, I remember him vividly saying this on the phone, like, well, I don't want to do no long distance relationship and all of this and da da da. I'm like, okay, well, but in my mind, I'm like, I can't move tomorrow or whatever. But we were having conversation. That's letting you know how serious it was. So we having all those conversations, blah, 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 talking about, getting myself in a good position for my son as well. You know what I'm saying? But off the rip, I'm like, if I go somewhere, I'm a let him stay with his dad so I could really get myself together. And that's what I've been trying to do for the past couple years, like just really get myself established and really get on my feet, because I feel that I was always the primary parent in that situation, and I don't want to say allowed, but I allowed you to live your life, and you know what I'm saying, and allow you to become established and get your shit together. So extend me that same grace. Do the same for me. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be fuck me, bitch, you struggling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me. But so whatever. So that conversation, whatever. I get back to Detroit. So of course we're back talking at this point, whatever. I'm like, all right, we could try it again. I book another flight to Dallas. This time I was gonna go Cinco de Mayo weekend. Mind you, it had St. Patrick's Day weekend had just passed. March 23rd. This nigga ends up going to jail because he violated his probation. I'll never forget this day either. When he called me, he was just so calm, like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here, blah, 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 da, 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 whatever. But at this point, we're locked in. Now, here's the thing. I've never talked to a man in jail. I always steered away from like talking to hood niggas or anything. And not that he was on that, but he also did do a significant amount of time in jail before. But I never talked to somebody in jail, whatever. So in my mind, I'm like, man, when is these calls gonna start costing? When is all of this stuff gonna start happening? So whatever. Oh, and so when he went to jail, he actually went to jail. He had to go back to his hometown and go to jail. So he wasn't in Dallas. He had to go back to his hometown. So he went to jail in his hometown. The first few calls was free. We was talking and shit. And then, like, he had a little tablet, and you had to add money on that. And then the calls start costing. And then the days start going by. And it's like, we don't know how long you going to be in jail. But here I am, because at this point, I'm already in. You know what I'm saying? I'm already locked in at this point. So I'm just like, whatever, like, what, and this is something that I'm choosing to do. Again, accountability. I'm choosing to do this. That's cool. I'm choosing to be here. I'm choosing, accountability. So I'm taking these calls. I'm paying for these calls. Okay. Mind you, I don't have a full-time job. I'm teaching yoga, and that's not a full-time, that ain't no full-time salary. But again, this is something that I'm choosing to do because I'm fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm paying for these calls. We start writing letters. Like, I never saw this for myself. And this is what I mean about like feeling apprehensive about what I share, but like, how am I ever going to inspire somebody or touch somebody if I'm not real about my experience? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we all make bad decisions in relationships and in life, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. Put me on the chopping block. So we're writing. Okay, when we get to the writing letters part, he has said, it was something, I don't know why this stands out to me. He has said something about like really like just being completely honest and like just being vulnerable, just about like really sharing everything. And like about my situation too, about like my living situation, like my finances, why I am where I am right now. And I feel like I don't really have a problem sharing that, but something about, I don't know why, I just remember feeling some type of way about him saying, I don't know. But I know that if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, obviously you got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But it was just something about it that always made me feel like, I don't know, like really just bearing your soul, just telling everything. Like, and later on down the line, I feel like he used all of that stuff against me. You know what I'm saying? I let my guard down. I was honest. I was vulnerable. And I feel like another thing that he just did in the situation, period, was just take my kindness for weakness. So anyway, we're writing letters, all of that. In the beginning, he will always like try to have me call like his friends, his family, everybody. And I'm like, bro, call these niggas on your own. Why you got me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make these calls on your own. So he kind of chilled on like the friends and all of that shit. But I was like calling his family and shit on the phone, on three-way, blah, blah, blah. And he had me call his parents and shit. He had me call his sister, one of his sisters. Me and his sister ended up building a rapport, creating a very tight bond. Like, his sister is a mother as well. She done lived her life too. She done dealt with niggas, you know what I'm saying? I have friends that have, and not to say that I completely just uprooted my life and went to Dallas because of him, but I've had friends that have moved because of guys. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So just a whole bunch of shit. Whatever. We was always talking, just super cool. Another red flag. And another thing about narcissistic abusive relationships is triangulation. A narcissist will try to triangulate you with anybody. Their family, with their ex, with the motherfucking boogeyman. Like, they always want you fighting or like you over them about whatever. Just, and they love chaos. They thrive in chaos and confusion. That, you know what I'm saying? So, mind you, you got me calling your family, and again, we're fucking with each other. So you would think like, you would want me to be cool with your family, right? He had the biggest problem in the world with me being cool with his sister. And I just could not understand why. I'm like, bro, you introduced me to her. You got me talking to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't need to be telling you my business. I'm like, what do you think she's going to tell me? Like, I feel like I should know everything about you, right? Like, what is she going to tell me that I don't already know? Why? He would tell me to block her. Like, and I'm like, why? And at the end of the day, like, his family was, giving him money in this time when he was in jail or whatever. But I was really talking to his sister damn near every day. And me and her was putting money on the phone and do, like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So, and it was a lot of mistreatment towards her too. It was just a lot of just disrespect. Like, I don't get disrespecting and mistreating the people closest to you. That's wild as fuck to me. But again, red flag. So, again, writing letters. Not I'm getting into it with a nigga in jail. What are you? Actually, I do know what you're mad at. You're mad because you're in jail. You know what I'm saying? Who else do you have to put your bad energy off on? Take your frustrations out on the person closest to you, I guess. That's not how I roll. That's not what I do, but whatever. So that was happening. Now I'm getting into it with you. Now I'm getting cussed out in letters. Then you sorry. Then it like just very toxic. And speaking of toxic, another red flag. He always glorified toxicity from the beginning. And that was just very weird to me. Like, you're grown as fuck. Like, I know a lot of niggas love Future and all, like, people really be on this little toxic wave on the internet, but, like, it was just, like, OD toxic. And I'm like, bro, you are too grown to, I don't know. But he really is toxic as hell. So anyway, where else was I? Writing letters, all of that, just all the back and forth. So, okay, we're in April now. I'll never forget this day. It was like April 15th. I had just got my hair done. He was calling me while I was at the shop. I was looking like this, okay? So he called me like, hey, I'm getting out. Call my sister. Not you want me to call the girl you don't want me to be cool with. Call my sister, da-da-da-da, I'm getting out. I don't know what's going to happen. So now they're moving him from his hometown back to Texas. But he goes to jail there. It's not over. So, again, putting money on the phone. Taking accountability for this is what I'm choosing to do. Whatever. Still writing letters. Blah blah. Again, it's a lot of outside stuff going on too. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of times where I felt like I don't even know if I want to tell him what's really going on the outside because I don't want to stress you out even more. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Here I am being a light to you. Here I am being positive energy to you, trying to pour into you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and be there for you again. Like, we was cool. We like at first, whenever, you know what I'm saying? We were cool. So on top of the fact that I thought we was doing something here, but whatever. So all of that, we're still, and that's the thing. So we making plans. It's 5:55. We're making plans, all while he's in jail. And y'all gonna be like, bitch, you is delulu. I'm talking about marriage, a kid, being like a black yoga couple, just all of this shit. But again, it makes sense to me because, whatever. So planning all of this stuff. But then again, there's a thing called jail talk. So whatever, making all of these plans. Let's see. It gets to May. Now, remember, I booked the ticket for Cinco de Mayo weekend. So it was probably a couple days before he went to court and he didn't get out. I was like, damn. So he had to like get a lawyer and all this other shit. So I ended up canceling the flight. Still talking to his sister. He was always mad, whatever. Stopped talking to her, but then still needed us on the out. You know what I'm saying? You still need everybody on the outside. I don't know. Fast forward June, just the same shit. Still talking, whatever. Still making plans. At this point, I will say though, but I don't know. Some jail niggas do be smart. They read a lot of books in there. Them niggas know the Bible front to back. I can't say that it's a facade for everybody, but whatever. They do. They know what they know. So I will say when we was writing letters and talking, he was always just on my head about really making a plan. Like, are you really gonna come to Dallas? So mind you, he wasn't my sole purpose for trying to come here. I wanted to come here because I don't want to be in Detroit. I can't find a job in Detroit. I want to teach yoga as well, but I just want a new start, new scenery, new opportunities, new energy, new environment, all of that. This has always been my plan to go somewhere. So just always on my head about making a plan and da 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 da. Whatever. Let's see. Fast forward. He gets out in July. Finally gets out. He gets out. I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm you, whatever. Whatever. But it was whatever. So we talking. He's just really on my head. And now I'm starting to feel, I'm kind of slightly starting to feel pressure a little bit. Like I want to come, but again, it was kind of like, you gonna come or you not gonna come. And I'm not doing no long distance relationship and all of this. And I was kind of feeling pressure. And at this point, more of the shit that I didn't like and that I really should have stood on started happening. More of the subtle disrespect, just little shit, like not even little shit, really big shit to me. Big shit to a woman, like, why the fuck would you do that? Why would you say, you know what I'm saying? Like, but just subtle shit. But and that's the thing. Don't do some shit or say some shit or throw somebody in my face or anything like that and then turn around and say that I'm insecure. You're provoking me. It's called reactive abuse. You know what I'm saying? Somebody will do something to fuck with you or just do something, and then when you react, you crazy, you insecure. Like, no, why the fuck would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And then I just started to, things just started to change. Like, anytime that he would call me and I would see his name on my phone, I didn't feel good about that no more. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm so happy to talk to you. Like, all of our conversations were arguments. Everything was like, he was just very super critical of me, criticized everything that I did. Never heard a compliment. It was just all criticism, like belittling me, just saying and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what happened here? And I even told him, like, this is not even fun anymore. This is like, conversations with you are not even pleasant. I feel like everything is an argument. Or you just be tearing me down. And another thing was not always, but I started to feel like he was jealous of me. And I started to feel like he was in competition with me. And you gotta remember that we're both in the yoga world. You know what I'm saying? We both do yoga. And I was just like, and it's not to take away from him because he's an amazing yogi. You know what I'm saying? He does that shit for real. But it's like, why do I feel like you in competition with me and I'm supposed to be, you know what I'm saying? Spousal competition is very weird behavior. So all of that, but whatever. We're still talking. He's still like, are you gonna come? Just on my head about that, whatever. Mind you, when he got out of jail, he lost everything. He lost everything. He was behind on his bills and all of that. Never once did I laugh at that and make fun of that or that shit's not funny. And if you my nigga, we're supposed to be. But I'm a different type of person, apparently, but so keep that in mind as well. So, on my head about getting down there, whatever. At this point, I'm starting to have conversations with my son. Like, I'm thinking about leaving to go out of state again. And one thing that you got to know about me, and I feel like if you know me, you know. And if you know my son, you know. I am an amazing fucking parent. I'm an amazing mother. Pat on my motherfucking back. Like, my son is super intelligent, super intellectual, emotionally intelligent, in tune with himself spiritually. He's a great kid. 4.0 student all year last year. All the personality in the world. Just like an amazing kid. Well-mannered, well-behaved. That's because of me. Okay? That's because of me. And like I think I said this earlier, like I feel like I was the primary parent. I'm not saying that his dad wasn't, he absolutely was involved, but baby, moms can't make no excuses. Moms, you know what I'm saying? It's been many times where a nigga's career came over everything. It was like, well, I gotta work. I gotta work too. What do you mean? Like, so I always had to figure it out. So again, I feel like I was the primary parent for the majority of my son's life. You know what I'm saying? And again, I never got to get to a space where I was able to really get myself together. And that's the thing. And it's nobody else's responsibility because I'm grown, but I'm just saying, like, to not have no type of support or help, you know what I mean? And I'm struggling, like, I'm drowning. Y'all niggas see this and not like, and if y'all not gonna help me, cool. But then when I branch off and go do my own thing and I'm like, hey, you gotta keep your kid. My son is 12. Y'all seen Boys in the Hood. Trey went to live with his daddy when he was 10. My son is 12. Dad, it's your time. It's your time. You feel me? So whatever. So I was having conversations with my kid about it. Obviously, he wasn't, thrilled about me leaving, but he understands. Like, mommy's trying to get it together on a financial level so we could be good. You know what I'm saying? I've nurtured you. I've guided you. And they said that the formative years of a child's life is maybe up until like 7 years old or something like that. So, and that's one thing that I truly believe, like, God forbid, knock on wood, if anything ever happened to me, I have instilled so much into my son that if I was not around, I think that he would be good because of everything that I've instilled in him. But also, he's 12 years old. I feel like this is the time that he needs to be with his dad. I can't teach him how to be a man. Dad, it's your time. Period. So yeah, so started having a conversation with him, whatever. My support system back home kind of started, mentioning it there and whatever. Fast forward. So it's still July. Boom. I get on again, he was always on my, when I'm telling y'all, he was on my head every day. Like, have you found a job yet? I'm like, I'm not even in Dallas. What I'm gonna do if somebody like, hey, you got the job and I'm not there? Like, relax. You worry about you getting the job and getting you just got out of jail. Worry about you. Why you work? And again, this is another thing. So mind you, he lost everything. We ain't staying at your crib, right? So where are we going? Oh, we're staying with your sister. The one that I'm cool with. Because I would have never agreed to come or go to a place, where I already am, I'm going to be some type of uncomfortable by doing this. But at least I'm cool with her. We have a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be as bad as if I would have blocked her and not talked to her and just showed up at her doorstep like, hey, I'm about to come crash here while we get it together. You know what I'm saying? So hop on the flight, go to Dallas. It's July. And so my thing is, if most times when you're talking to somebody, dating somebody, and the vibes are there, I'm telling y'all, the vibes was there. The vibes was there. I'm talking to you on the phone every day. We're FaceTiming. Well, aside from the fact that things did start to change and there was all that weird shit going on. Oh, wait, before I get there. Before I left to go to Dallas, and I would have conversations with my homegirl Jocelyn about this all the time. I was just so back and forth with how I felt. I was 50-50 on if I should go or not. And this is another thing. Write this down. Listen to your intuition. For real. 50% of me was like, yeah, I want to go, find a job, be in a new place, da-da-da-da. Also, I'm thinking that me and him gonna be good, whatever. 50% of me wanted to go. I was very stagnant and like stuck in Detroit. Again, I couldn't find a job. I feel like I had been in that same space for years, just not progressing, not improving, not growing, not So it was a no-brainer for me. Like, yes, go do something different. Like, take a risk, period. The other 50% of me, I could not make this shit up. It was like, I can't even describe the feeling that I felt in the pit of my stomach every time I thought about it. Like, Jasmine, do not go. Do not go. So I'm sitting there, like, 50% of me is like, it's gonna be good. Just do your thing, get a job, go crazy, But what I felt inside was like, I don't know about this. On top of the fact that you already got all of these red flags and the way that he's acting, I don't know if you should go, Jasmine, but y'all know me. I love the thrill. I love to live on the edge. So I go. So the day that I get there, the day that I touch down, like, the vibes was not there. It was just like, and I'm like, is it just because? And it was weird to me because even though all of that stuff had been happening as far as like how I felt with the red flags, I just felt like the vibe, I felt like the energy would still be there, like, but it wasn't. And I just thought that was so weird. I'm like, well, maybe it's just because it's our first time actually meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe we just gotta get you. Like, I remember the whole car ride. Like, he was playing like some good ass music, and I was vibing to the music, but the energy just was not right. And I was like, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. And again, it would just be, I don't know. I feel like he used to like size me up, and just the way that he would, like, again, I told y'all I felt like he was in competition with me. He was jealous of me. It would just be times like that. I would just look at how he looked at me like, I don't know. On top of the fact, like, the way that he was treating me and the shit that he was doing, it's like, bro. And I used to say this to him. I used to be like, do you even like me? Like, it was very weird. So, just really weird vibes. Oh, I had a job as soon as I stepped off the plane. I had ended up getting a job at a really nice hotel. And then, and then as soon as I got there to the crib, like, I had a phone call that day with another hotel, like, come in for an interview tomorrow, I think. And I had went to that one. So, I had started working at one hotel with her. So I got 2 jobs. Now, mind you, this is a person that was on my head, like, make sure you got to get a job, you got to grind, you got to leave that mentality that you got in Detroit, and that just acting like I'm just some bum ass bitch or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. So I get there and I get 2 jobs. And again, I told y'all I feel like this is somebody that's in competition with me. So he did end up getting a job, but it was like a night job doing something that he really wasn't trying to do for real. But, just in the meantime, in between time. And so then I remember it got to the point where, so I had ended up getting the 2 jobs. And I was, trying to decide like what I was going to do. Like, am I about to work 2 jobs? Then all of a sudden this nigga go, oh, I got 3 jobs now. I'm about to be working 3 jobs. And in my mind, I'm like, who wants to work 3 jobs? That sounds stressful as fuck. But again, that's that competition shit. What else? Just little shit. I feel like I should pull out my little notes now. Again, just every day, just constantly the mental gymnastics, the mental games, the emotional games, like literally picking at me every day, starting arguments, tearing me down. Another thing was, and I don't want to fast forward too quick, but I'm going to just go here with it. Like, so we both do yoga. He had been living in Dallas for 2 years, so you would think like you got a following, you got people that would come to classes, that you would be teaching classes, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I ended up getting a gig teaching yoga. And I remember, like, I had posted it on Instagram when I first found out, like, I just got a gig, to teach yoga, da-da-da. Y'all think he reposted that shit on his page? Hell no. Looked at my story and never even said nothing about it. So to me, that says a lot. Just keep it pushing. When I tell y'all, I only taught 3 classes, but every day or every time that I woke up that morning to go teach, Best believe it was an argument. Best believe it was somebody fucking with me to fuck with my energy to try to kill my vibe. And he had whatever, that first class that I taught, he had made it a whole thing about like, well, damn, you didn't even invite me. And I'm like, you knew that I was teaching. You seen that I posted that I was going to be teaching somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, let's not play this game. So he wanted to act like he wasn't going to come, but then he was like, you know what, I'm going to come. And I'm like, I really don't want you to come, but whatever. So he came, did the class. After that fucking class, I wasn't gonna ask what he thought of it because I already know, like, you're an asshole. You're gonna be a dick because you're a dick. So, but somehow, I was like, okay, well, what did you think of it? All negative feedback, told me it sucked. Like, oh, you a terrible teacher. It had no direction. I didn't even my body didn't feel warmed up. Just all of this crazy shit. And I'm like, all right, just stop. Just stop. No, I'm gonna tell you, like, you want to be an asshole for no fucking reason, bro. You don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Just the, again, purposely trying to hurt you, intentionally trying to hurt you. And this is what I was dealing with every day. Somebody fucking with me, arguing with me, picking fights with me. I'm talking about, like, another thing, another, like, pointer of narcissistic abuse in relationships and stuff like that is like sleep deprivation. They don't like you to sleep. They want to keep you in a constant state of confusion and chaos. And what better way than to not let a bitch get some sleep? When I tell y'all, waking me up at 3:00 in the morning, wouldn't let me go back to sleep when I gotta go to work. Just whatever. But best believe he wanted my support for his yoga shit. We did yoga together like a few times, and we did like yoga by ourselves, in certain places, but he's never taught a class. I've never attended any of his classes. He's never had a class that I've witnessed. But wanted me to support him, wanted me to build his shit up. Mind you, I have my own brand, whatever. I remember one time he had brought that up too, like, what was I gonna say? I don't know, whatever. What wanted me to build his shit up or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I got my own brand. You know what I'm saying? Black girl experience. Oh, about like just making it seem like yoga, I guess it could be your life's purpose and you could use that to change other people's lives. And I'm like, I thought that's what we came together on was yoga in the first place. No, like this is my life. This is really what I do. Like, so what did you think I was doing before? Like, whatever. And then turned around and said that he didn't want my support, but was asking me for my support and to do things for him. But felt like he wanted me to do all the work. And I'm like, no, nigga, I work 40 hours a week. You think I want to come do some? No, I'm straight. Do it on your own. I remember at one point he had told me, like, you could build the home and I could work on the studio. What woman wants to build a home by herself? Like, what? And what does that entail? Does that mean that I pay all the bills? I'm straight. Just the mental gymnastics, the mental games. This was funny too. I remember when I had first got here. I remember one, like, but mind you, this was before I didn't start working maybe like until a week after I got here or something like that. And I remember one time he go tell me, like, you ain't gotta wait on me to do stuff. You could go do stuff. Bro, I don't have a car. I don't have a job yet. I'm not just trying to spend all my money and just be frolicking through the city. So, but mental note, right? You ain't gotta wait on me to go do stuff. Bet. So even the times when I had booked those flights and I was supposed to come see him, even though it didn't work out, he had made like a whole itinerary of things that we were supposed to do, right? And when I actually got to Dallas, we were still supposed to do those things. There were certain things that we were supposed to do. We never did those things. So one day I took it upon myself to go to a place that he was supposed to take me to that he never took me to. You lame and you selfish. Why would you go to my spot? Are you insane? You haven't took me anywhere. What do you mean? Bro, the mental gymnastics, bro. I can't make this shit up. I will always tell him like, bro, I don't understand you because you encouraged me to come here and you kind of begged me to come here. You know what I'm saying? And even though he was not the sole reason why I came here, you wanted me to come here. We had all these fake plans to do all this shit, and now you act like you don't want me here. He was so petty and so childish. It got to the point where like, bro, we're sharing a space. We're sharing a bed. We're sharing a room. You know what I'm saying? This was the plan, right? He would get an attitude like, get off of my side of the bed. I have to share all of my stuff with you. And I'm like, are we 5? Again, you asked me to come here. Where you want me to sleep on the floor? What do you want me to do? Like, it was really insane. Again, I feel like he used everything against me in those letters that I wrote him. I felt like he always wanted to count my pockets. And that's one thing that I wouldn't do was tell him how much money I had because why? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it got to the point where it was like, so now it's getting bad. Every day I'm dealing with it. And again, I really pride myself on being like a very mentally strong and emotionally strong, spiritually strong person. I probably could take more than the average person. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just built like that. And then again, as a black woman, I feel like I don't know what it is. A heart of gold, a mind of gold, just the armor of God on us and in us. Like I don't know. Like we just strong. And that ain't a flex. I don't want to be strong. I want to be in my soft girl era. I want to live my soft girl life. But thank God that I am as strong as I am because I was able to endure all of this mental, emotional, spiritual, verbal abuse. You know what I'm saying? Every day and that was the thing he would always tell me, like, basically that I wasn't doing shit. I'm like, bro, I'm doing everything that I said that I was going to do. I got a job as soon as I got off the fucking plane. I'm trying to save my money to, do what I need to, like, but every day, just trying to tear me down and whatever. Just a very selfish person, always counting my pockets. Another thing is, I feel like another red flag or another thing that should like raise your antennas in a situation is like, if you feel like you are losing yourself in a situation, if you feel like you're not even you no more, another thing that a narcissistic person would do is try to isolate you from your friends and your family. And what better way to do that than to get a bitch to uproot her life and move to another state? But yeah, like even when he was in jail, like I had noticed that I had stopped creating. And I'm not solely blaming him, but I feel like I just felt like it was a dark cloud over me. When he was in jail, I felt like I was in jail. I wasn't creating, I wasn't making podcast episodes. I just wasn't feeling like myself because I'm over here trying to pour into you. And we know that you should only be pouring into others if your cup is overflowing. Because if your cup is not full, that's the easiest way back to an empty cup. You know what I'm saying? So just going over and beyond for somebody doing the most and just not pouring into myself. It's very important to be with somebody that supports you, appreciates you, values you, what you bring to the table, what you've done for them. He act like I ain't do shit. And we'll also throw that in my face too about like anytime that I would bring up the whole thing about, man, I spent a lot of money, time, energy when he was in jail. And of course, a motherfucker go act like I didn't ask you to do that and then try to flip it on me like, well, that wasn't genuine if you got to bring it up. It's not that I'm bringing it up for that, but I'm bringing it up because you act like I ain't never did shit for you. You act like I was not there for you. Like, And to turn around and get treated like this after all that I've done, I don't care that, you know what I'm saying? I took the L on the money that I spent and whatever, but it's like, it's very low to treat somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? When motherfuckers did a lot for you. So that's crazy to me. Definitely got to get somebody with some principles, some values, and some morals about themselves. And that's the thing. A lot of times, um, narcissistic individuals are going to be like very charismatic people, a people's person. You know what I'm saying? They got this whole persona that they put on for the world, but behind closed doors or to the person closest to them, a totally different person. So you know what I'm saying? And I hate to throw men under the bus for this, but that'd be a lot of men too. Like when you think about whether it be celebrities or athletes or businessmen or a CEO of a company or a person with a lot of power or authority or a lot of money, yeah, they the man to the world. You charismatic, he's such a great person, but behind closed doors, they're terrible people. And they use their power, their money, their status, you know what I'm saying, to carry out their evil ways and shit. So that's just something to be mindful of as well. Um, and that's the thing too. A narcissistic individual in the beginning, they mirror you. They mirror you. So just like I said, like I feel like he used everything in a letter against me and all of that. I feel they create this facade. They mirror you. They want to match everything that you say. And to you, it's like, oh, damn, this a match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying? And then as time goes on, when you get past the little love bombing stage, when you get past the honeymoon stage, at some point that mask has to slip because that's not who they really are. They did that to get you. And so when the mask drops, it's like, bro. And that's what I'm like. When you really see a person for who they are, you have to believe it. But you may be too far in. You may be knee deep in the game. Like, damn, how can I get out? But it's imperative for you to get out. And I think that was another thing with him. Like, I think like when he actually met me and got to be around me and stuff, it was kind of like, oh, this bitch is not pretending. Like, this bitch is really authentic. This bitch is really a good person. Like, you really are who you say you are. You're not portraying to be, you know what I'm saying? And that's a dagger and that's a trigger because if you're pretending to be something that you're not, you can only uphold that image for so long. You can only keep the mask on for so long. It's gonna slip. It's gonna fall. And it's gonna get ugly. Um, the things that they admire about you in the beginning are the same things they end up hating you for, which is sick. Like, you loved me. You really liked me. You liked the person that I was. I haven't heard when I say I didn't hear a motherfucking compliment when I came here, I never heard like, I'm happy that you came. I'm happy that you're here. Like, never. Never. So, very weird behavior. I remember he told me that I tricked him. And I think he was implying that I changed or something. And I'm like, bro, I never changed. On God, I never changed. This a laugh. Um, he said that I tricked him. And I'm like, no, nigga, you tricked me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never changed. But that's the blame shifting. That's the putting it on you. And that's the thing. So as an empath, as a naturally caring, loving, healing person, you know what I'm saying? Those types of people project their positivity on other people. On some the light in me sees the light in you type shit. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was nothing but good to you, projecting positivity on you. Like trying even through all of the bullshit and the way that you was treating me, I was still trying to see the good in you, even though you was showing me who you was. A narcissist is a person that projects all of their insecurities onto you. all of that deep, dark shit in them, they project that onto you. And what you got to realize in these situations is that these people don't change, especially as they get older. And it has a lot to do with like their childhood, their trauma. And again, this is a person that I don't know, and that's why you should probably really get to know people in real life. You know, but I mean, I feel like you can never really fully know a person, but I didn't know this person at all, and that's my fault. But um, these people are very dark individuals. They lack empathy, and they have a hole in their heart that is a black hole that will never be able to be filled. And that's why after they realized, like, because he told me this, he told me, he was like, yeah, I thought you was perfect. And I'm like, why did you think that? I'm a human. Like, I thought you was perfect. And I guess, so whatever human flaw he saw in me, and that made him be like, this ain't it. So when they realize that, because they think that whatever person they go get with or whatever thing that they're into, like, they think that's going to fulfill them, but it's not. Like, it'll never be enough. And that's the thing. They're going to keep moving the goalposts with you. It's never going to be enough. So you got to learn, like, okay, let me stop fucking trying, because it's not me, it's you. You're the problem. And again, they just project their insecurities and all their issues onto you. And it kills the relationship. What else do I have in here? And that's how I know I'm not the problem. Because I've had, like I said, I had built a very good relationship with his sister. And we had several conversations. And that gave me a lot of insight into why he is the way that he is as well. But it definitely confirmed that he was the problem, not me. I said, when you live the life and are unhappy and you see who a person truly is every day, you got to remember that when your mind is playing tricks on you in the grieving process. So when it's over and you start to come out of it and you realize, you know, because you might still be like trying to live in the fantasy of what you thought that person was in the love bombing phase, or in the beginning when they painted this picture of who they were and was doing all that future faking with you and making all those plans and stuff. Like, you go back, like, what happened to that? None of that was real. They were mirroring you. It was a facade. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you are out of it, you have to remember what it was every day. I have to remember that this motherfucker was telling me to leave every day. I want you out here. Leave. Just fucking leave. Just like, and then was also telling me like, oh, but you need me. You know what I'm saying? Making it seem like I needed him. And my thing is, you know that I don't have anywhere to go. So, you know I don't have anywhere to go. But no, I don't fucking need you. I don't need you. But yeah, you have to remember that. Like, you have to remember what you experienced in those moments and how you were being treated every day. Like, remember the truth. Remember what was happening. Don't even worry about a motherfucker moving on and being better for the next, because they're not gonna change. They do this. This is them. They're never gonna change. So I don't care what a motherfucker posts on social media or try to throw in your face and act like, do it to the next one, not me. The very hot and cold energy, the back and forth, like the antics and the eggshells, like, narcissists, they should be actors. Cause they put on a whole production. Don't let them rage out and have a moment. Like, the antics, the theatrics, the product, like, and they're gonna do all again. They're gonna do all of this and want to be the victim. My thing is, you can't be the victim and the aggressor. You can't be the victim and the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point where he wasn't taking me to work. But again, and so he had a whole schedule himself too. But it got to the point where, okay, now you're trying to make things super difficult for me. You want me to leave. cool. I'm trying to get on my feet. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? It was times where I'm like, why can't we just coexist in this space? I can't. You're bothering me. Your presence bothers me. I'm not even doing anything to you. But like, you know, didn't want to take me to work, wanted to make shit hard, wanted me to have to spend even more money. So I'm like, cool, whatever, you know, whatever. Um, Another thing about dealing with this type of individual is like how I said antics and eggshells. You have to walk on eggshells with this person. It's a very uncomfortable situation. It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation because you never know what person you're gonna get waking up. Like you never know what you're gonna deal with. I was so full of like anxiety and just always in flight or flight mode because I never knew how he was gonna act. I never knew what to expect. Um, so it's a very challenging thing to deal with. Um, I'm telling you, everything is blamed on you. Everything is your fault. You don't know what you're arguing about. An argument is never an argument with a narcissist. Like if we talk if we talking about the water bottle, it's gonna be about everything but. It's gonna be about everything else in the room. Like I asked you a question about the water bottle. It's stressful. It's very stressful. Again, the whole thing about the reactive abuse. So it's like he will always do things to fuck with me. And with me, again, being what I like to say is like a mentally strong person or whatever, like I try not to let shit get to me. I'm a very calm and peaceful person. If you know me, you know. You know what I'm saying? I don't like confrontation. I don't like to argue. But it's a catch-22. You're never gonna win. So it's like you purposely fuck with me or try to provoke me. And I don't want to say nothing because I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to give, you want my energy is what you want. You want to respond. Whatever you could get from me is going to get you off. It's like having an orgasm for them. Any type of energy or reaction that you give them is going to get them off. So it's hard to bite your tongue and be like, I'm not going to give you what you want. Because then on the flip side, it's like, oh, I could keep fucking with you. I could keep provoking. You know what I'm saying? So then it's kind of like they conditioning you to take whatever it is that they doing. So it's a very weird situation. And again, this shit takes a toll on you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. If you don't know a lot about it, TikTok University, TikTok got everything on there. And it's a lot of people on there that can really educate you about what it is. And the crazy part is when you look in the comments and you see like people, and it's both men and women that go through this, but seeing people that say like, I was married to a person like that for 20 years and all, and it's like, I was only going through this for 8 months. I can't imagine going through that for 20 years because of the effects that it has on you. I follow this girl on Instagram. Her name is Alex March Energy. And I want to say that she talks about her being in an abusive relationship. I'm not sure if it was a narcissist, but whatever, it probably was. But she really gets deep, like she's on some healing shit. But she talks about how like you gotta heal your body from that shit because of the toll that it takes on you physically. Like people get so many physical ailments from being in that situation, like making themselves sick and like just you gotta think of like dealing with that shit every day. So many issues like what is it? Like whatever, stomach issue, just health, all types of health issues from that. From dealing with a bad relationship. And then don't be in a physically abusive relationship. And we're not there yet. Let me see what else did I have on here. Every car ride was either silent or argument. Everyone. And it was also so weird because again, remember I said like jail niggas are smart, like they read a lot of books, they probably know the Bible front and back. It was always so weird that he would always play like Joel Osteen in the car and every time the message would hit so hard and it would be like about him. Like the message would be for me about him, and I'm like, not you giving me the message to leave you the fuck alone. Like, so crazy. Bringing up other women, throwing them in my face, triangulation, all of that. Should I go here? Should I go here with it? And then again, reactive abuse. So doing shit purposely to piss me off and all of that. First of all, let me say this. I haven't went through a phone in a long time. I'm talking about in years. Like, if you feel like you got to go through somebody's phone, then you know that it's over. And that's not even really the case. But I have a person that's literally always saying very outlandish things to me about being with other women, or like wanting to have multiple women, or having a girlfriend, wanting to have 2 baby mamas, or having somebody pregnant. Like, just very weird like, why are you saying this shit to me? So something, whatever. It wasn't even his phone, but he was logged into his shit on there. So mind you, he had just said some crazy shit to me, and I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look and see, because why are you saying all this weird ass shit to me? So I go and look, and there's some shit in there. And this how I know. This how I knew. Well, I knew from the jump that I was never in his league, and that I should have never really talked to him on that level. Like, I should have never did it. And I would think about that too. Like, if I ever took him around like some Detroit niggas, or just around my people, they would be like, Jasmine, like, no, no. But so I did look in the phone, and I found some shit, and I was like, this is how I know. 'Cause you talk to bitches and you fuck with bitches that look like they sell pussy on Instagram. And for the low. For the low. And I don't know. With me, you try to be this super enlightened individual, and it's just, you a different person with me, but the caliber of women that is really your speed is not me. And that's how I knew. And then, of course, that led to, like, I can't be trusted and all of this. Like, bro, you saying some wild shit to me. I had to find out. I had to find out what the fuck is going on. Another thing is, like, you got to realize that you make a person what they are. You know what I'm saying? With the energy and the attention and the affection that you give them. Because and I wish Jocelyn was gonna get on here with me today. She was supposed to tap in and stream on, but like, I'll be honest. When I first had came across him, I didn't think that he was attractive. I wasn't like, oh my God, it's the finest nigga. Like, it wasn't. It was just and again, that's because I'm a person of substance and of quality. So again, I was intrigued by the whole yoga thing and all of that. But as time went on, you know what I'm saying? I put my energy and all of that into you, and I made you to be what you was in my mind. And I made you that. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, because it was so many times when people were like, oh, let me see a picture of him or whatever. And I'd be like, nah. No, I don't want to show you a picture of him. Like, why not? I just don't. And Jocelyn know what I used to call him. But what else? Another funny thing. This is not funny, but another funny thing, like, for somebody to be such a man of God and all of this, like, you really just said a lot of wild shit. Like, basically told me one time, like, I could be an asshole because I got the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm in a situation where I'm staying with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, oh, you kind of got to just take this treatment. And it's like, no, I don't. You know what I'm saying? But to a certain extent, I was, because, I'm in a foreign place. Again, I uprooted my life to come here, And no, I don't just have nowhere to go off top. And we're gonna get to that. Um, what else? Hmm. So let's start getting to let's start getting to the end. So July, August, September, October. I'm telling y'all, it was something literally every day. Um and my thing is, one thing that you gotta realize in this type of situation is like you gotta recognize what's happening and detach yourself from the energy. And that's the thing. Like I feel like people feel like say it's not physical abuse, but it's still mental, emotional, verbal abuse, whatever. That's enough. That's enough. And that shit will break you down, especially if it's happening every day. But I feel like if people feel like, oh, it's not physical, you know what I'm saying? It might be kind of harder to leave the situation, but I knew that it wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? I knew that it didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. Even in moment, and that's the thing. I saw somebody left a comment on a TikTok video about these type of situations, and she was like, I had wrote down all of the pros and cons, and she said she only had 3 pros and the rest were cons. Now, mind you, this is not even a pro and con list. This is just notes about shit that was like, but again, I don't have any pros. I don't have any pros to this situation. I cannot name one pro, like for real. I can't name one pro. So, yeah, you gotta separate yourself from an unhealthy situation, especially when you know. But I know that like it's hard. And just how when my homegirl called, people be like, oh, well, you should just leave or what. Like, it's so much easier said than done, especially depending on the circumstances of your situation. Again, I uprooted my life and came to a whole nother state. I could just go back to Detroit, but I got a job now. I'm not trying, I'm not trying to leave. But I know I need to get out of there. And I will say that like my faith in God has really been tested during this time. And it's also become a lot stronger because I found myself praying so much more. I literally was praying my way out of this situation. And but I feel like God was telling me like, okay, well, you gotta move your feet though. But it's scary when I was like, you really don't have no support. And you know what I'm saying? Like it was like, okay, I'm praying to get out of this situation. I know I like um every day I was like, I gotta get out of this. And moment of honesty, another thing. And this is for the ladies, because I know they're gonna be able to relate. Another thing I kept telling myself, I was like, you got to stop having sex with this person. For real. Like energy exchange is a real thing. And that's the thing. You taking all my good energy. You know what I'm saying? And what am I getting back from you? Nothing. And you know what? I don't know what kind of shit he into, but I ain't gonna lie. One time he put on and I put him onto this. It's like a guided meditation, I guess, type thing that I put him onto. Really good for manifestation and shit like that. He put that shit on one night and then was having sex with me, and I'm like, this nigga trying to manifest some shit off my good vagina. Mm-mm. So, but that's another thing too. Like, get out. So anyway, let's start getting to like what really brought it to the end for real. Like I told you, I was trying to pray my way out of the situation. Um, it was just I don't even know how I was doing it every day. I don't know how I was doing it. I don't know how I was dealing with it. But like I said, waking up wee hours of the morning, I'm talking about 3 a.m. just to argue, just to fuck with me. And I don't know if these are two separate times that I'm putting together in my mind, but it was one time that he had woke me up in the middle of the night. I wanted to go back to sleep so bad, but he just would not stop talking to me. It's like, you're gonna talk to me. Like, you don't force me to talk to you. And he said the craziest, meanest shit that you could ever say to somebody. And again, you just gotta let it go in one ear and out the other. And I remember him saying, and then again too, just saying like how telling me what kind of woman he really do want and what type of person he go change for and what type of man. Like, you're never gonna be there for somebody. You're not. You're not. But telling me how this situation and how I made him not ever want to be in a relationship, ever get married, want to live with somebody, whatever. And that's fine. Maybe he really don't want that. Maybe he want to be by himself, and that's cool. I don't want those things either. I mean, I want those things, but I know that I don't want them with you. And I'm never going to get those things if I continue to stay here. Well, whatever I'm working towards, period. And my thing was always like, we had an agreement when I came here. You know what I'm saying? We had a whole plan on, and even if and I'm past us not being together. I'm past that now. I don't want to be with you either. I see who you truly are. And the next bitch is gonna see when the mask falls off too. You know what I'm saying? But I want those things. So the longer that you stay in situations that you know are not meant for you, the longer you delay what is for you. I was praying to get out of the situation, but I was not moving my feet. So all of that had happened, and then just fucking with me every day, every day, every day. So one of the last days, I remember like when he had woke me up to argue in the morning, it was going back and forth on like whether he was gonna take me to work or not. But he ended up taking me to work. And then when I got to work, he called me and was still fucking with me. And it was a whole little argument, it was a whole little thing. And then he was like, man. And this wasn't the first time that he threatened to throw my shit out or tell me to leave. Like, mind you, he had been telling me this the entire time that I've been here. So he was like, I'm gonna bring your shit up to your job and da 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 da. And so I'm like, man, don't do that. Like, that's ghetto as fuck. It's ignorant as fuck. It's petty as fuck. It's embarrassing as fuck. Don't have these people in my fucking business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want me to leave, I will leave. I'll just come get my shit and I'll leave. And so he didn't end up bringing my shit up to the job. Got home that day. He was still talking shit to me. Whatever. Leave, leave, leave. Leave, leave, leave. And I ended up taking my hair down that day. I had braids in my hair. And I took my hair down that day. And by the time that I got done taking down my hair and washing my hair and doing all of that shit, I had went on the couch. I happened to look at my phone and he was like, oh, well, you can come in the room if you want to. So I went in the room because who the fuck wants to sleep on the couch, bro? Who wants to sleep on the couch? So I go in there like, hey, don't touch me, whatever, blah, 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 whatever. I'm just in here. Of course, he tried it that night. And I'm like, no. Straight. I don't want to do it. He stopped. And then that next morning, he was trying it again. And I still was like, no, I don't want to do it. Now, when somebody declines your sexual advances and you say that you don't care and to stop fighting you, I think we all know what that is, right? But we didn't end up having sex. But it's the whole point that you was trying it. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you said that too really just left a very bad taste in my mouth. And I made a mental note of that. So And I will never forget. So since I didn't want to do it, he was like, all right, get out. His hand was, get out. So I went back out into the living room. And at this point, it's early in the morning. So everybody's awake and getting ready for the day. And he comes out of the room. Him and his sister get into an argument about some shit that ain't got nothing to do with me, right? So I'm sitting on the couch. I'm minding my own business, and they're arguing. And I'm talking about at the top of their lungs, face to face, like everybody's out in the living room. Everybody's getting ready for their day. And I'm sitting on the couch. Again, I'm minding my own motherfucking business. I don't have nothing to do with the argument. It has nothing to do with me. He gets triggered by what she says, and I know because after she said it, I looked at him in his face, and he was triggered. And I don't know if it's because she spoke some truth that he might have thought that I didn't know or whatever, but he was triggered. On top of the fact that you ain't had sex with me, so you probably big mad, right? You are. He big mad now. And you looking like a fool in front of me. So you big mad. They arguing. You know, I ain't got to go into what they was arguing about. But then he put the spotlight on me. But you gonna let a random bitch stay here? The bitch that you brought here? The bitch that you begged and encouraged to come here? Yeah, I'm here. But mind you, I'm not even saying nothing. Because it ain't my business. I'm not trying to get into it. And I'm at a disadvantage in this situation because at the end of the day, y'all are family. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't about to gang up on me and you know what I'm saying? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to you this entire time that I've been here, but I know how to mind my business. So this bitch gotta go. This bitch gotta go. She's like, Jasmine, you don't have to leave. No, this bitch gotta go. He started grabbing my shit, throwing my shit all around the room. It's getting real heated. But I'm still not saying anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to make the situation worse. I'm not going to put fuel on the fire. I'm at a disadvantage in this situation. He's very upset. He has a lot of misdirected anger. And now it's coming at me. So I don't know if I was already just standing, but he came over and he pushed me onto the couch. This bitch gotta go. This bitch gotta go. Grabs me by my, no, before he did that, I thought he was gonna start punching me. So I'm like this. And, you know, I told a few people this story, like a few girls or whatever, and everybody like, you ain't fight him? You ain't, are you crazy? So these motherfuckers could beat my ass and throw me in a lake somewhere? Like, no. So I'm like this because I thought he was gonna start punching me. And he grabs me by my hair and pulled me off the couch like, this bitch gotta go. I'm like, bro, I will leave. And this is what I'm saying. When you stay in a situation way longer than what you're supposed to, I knew I should have been left that situation. And it's so funny because up until the days leading up into this, in my mind, I kept saying like, it's starting to become a lot for me. Mentally, emotionally, like spiritual. I'm like, I'm a strong person, but it's starting to become a lot. It's really starting to weigh on me. It's really starting to take a toll on me. And I'm like, in my mind, I kept saying this. I was like, I don't want it to become physical. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to. So that's happening. I'm like, bro, I will leave. So I go lock myself in the room. I start gathering my stuff up. And at this point, he's still just going off. Mind you, the argument had nothing to do with me. But again, every day he was telling me to leave. So I knew how he felt. You know what I'm saying? But he was using this as an opportunity to just go off. So whatever. But while I'm in the room gathering my stuff, and you know I got to make light of any situation. One thing I'm always going to do is get my hair done. So mind y'all, the day before that I took my braids off, I had a hair appointment this morning. So I'm like, man, God, please just let me make it to my hair appointment. Like I want to get my shit braided today. I'm thinking that. So I'm gathering my things, and as I'm gathering my things, he's still going off. He's still yelling. He's still loud as fuck. And he's like, no, I guess his sister was saying like she was gonna call the police on him. He like, you gonna call the police on your brother? And he was like, I'm gonna go to jail behind this. Like, she can't stay here. If she do, she not gonna be safe here. Mental note. And again, when a person shows you who they are, believe it. Now remember, throughout this whole thing, I never did anything to this man, ever. And even in this moment, in this where it became physical, I never did anything to you. I never said anything to you. So in my mind, I'm making a mental note of him saying that I'm not going to be safe here if I stay here. You know what I'm saying? So when you come back with an apology, and that's another thing, even when I said like that night we was in the bed, and he had said some of the craziest, meanest shit that you could ever say to a person, he was like, and if I ever apologize or take back what I said, just know that I don't mean that. Like, I mean everything I'm saying. So you got to think everything that he said, the way that he's treated me this entire time, and this moment, this is who he really is. So don't ever, Jasmine, don't ever in your mind trick yourself to think that he's not this person, because he is. So when he was saying I'm not safe here, he gonna go to jail. You gonna go to jail behind. I cannot wrap my mind around not doing something to somebody. And that's what I'm saying. So dealing with a narcissistic individual or being in this type of situation, you got to understand that like this is spiritual and psychological warfare. This is a very dark, demonic type energy. And this, when I keep telling you I never did nothing to this person, why do you want to destroy me so bad? So it goes back to that being in competition with me, being jealous of me. I've never done anything to you. So, he like ended up barging it. I think he had left and then came back and he barged in the room. He was knocking on the door. I opened the door, pushed the door open. And I'm like, I'm getting my stuff together. I'm about to leave. Also, I'm not really sure why you have this much smoke for a woman that's 4'10" that didn't do anything to you. I didn't put my hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, go fight a nigga in the street. Go fight a nigga in jail. Like, go put you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very weird. So I gather all of my things. I catch my lift to my hair appointment with my suitcase and my hamper and my duffel bag. And I get there and I'm like, girl, I know this shit look crazy, but whatever. And I got my hair done. Oh, and then when I was in my lift on the way there, he called me and was like, where you going? I'm going to get my hair done. Like, what the fuck? And he was like, I'm sorry. Like, I took it too far. Like, you could bring your stuff back here. Like, you could come back. I'm about to go to work. Da 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 da. And I'm like, nah, I'm straight. So I got my hair done. I end up going to my job to see like what my options were and any hotels that I could stay at. And he called me a few more times that day. Of course, apologizing and I'm sorry, like I did have a lot of misdirected anger and da 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 da. I'm sorry, like the door is always open for you to come back. I really want to stand on my word. Like I said that I was going to help you get on your feet here. Like I want to stand on that. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, all of that sounds good, but he's going to flip again. Like, Jasmine, do not go back there. And whatever, that was it. He had ended up calling me maybe like some days later and was like, I'm just doing a wellness check. And at this point, I'm in a safe place now. I'm good. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. That was it. And then he had like accidentally called me another time. But if y'all know how iPhones work, you know that if your phone is on Do Not Disturb and somebody calls the first time, it goes straight to voicemail. If they call a second time, then the call goes through. My phone was on Do Not Disturb. He said, oh, I called you on accident 2 times, but I just didn't even say nothing. And then after that, he was messaging me because like some mail was going over there. And he like, you don't live here. Stop getting your... He said that to me again. Something else went over there today. He like, I'm going to call the police on you. I should call the police on you for physically assaulting me. Like, what are you talking about? And then this was the kicker too. Maybe about a week or so ago, he asked me like, why was I still talking to his family? And I'm like, bro, your sister called me. You're a liar. We're looking at the call log right now. I sent him a screenshot of the incoming call from his sister. He was like, it doesn't matter. I'm telling her to block you. You're insane, bro. And I just want to be left alone. And at the end of the day, I had to come on here and share my experience with y'all because, I've been gone all this time. I need to get back to myself. I need to get back to creating. I need to get back to the podcast. I'm not just trying to work my job and that be it. I want to do my podcast. I want to incorporate the yoga. I want to do live events. I want to do all of that. I'm loving Dallas. And even when I tell, I don't just be telling everybody this, but when I tell people this, like, and that was the thing. Another thing he used to say to me, like, basically like I'm gonna be fucked up without him. And I'm like, little do you know, I can't wait to separate from you because I'm gonna thrive without you. I'm gonna be so much better without you. I never needed you. I never needed you. I never needed you. But I think it was very important for me to come on here and share this story and this information with y'all because I don't know who gonna watch this or listen to it or whatever, but if I could help one person, whether it be a man or a woman, whatever, but specifically women, like from making better decisions than I did, being wise, using your discernment, so that you don't have to go through a situation like this, or even if you are in a situation like this. And again, I know a lot of women that have been in situations like this. I know women that have been in abusive relationships, and not just physical, mentally, verbally. Like, that shit is real. That shit is real. And that shit will fucking kill you. That shit will drain you until it ain't nothing left. And again, I was on TikTok looking at comments, people talking about they had been in these situations for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I cannot even imagine. That ain't gonna be me, and I damn sure don't want it to be you. So that is that. Let me see. Because I still didn't even go through all of these notes. Oh, this is a cool little thing that I wrote down, something that I wrote in the notes. I said, when I sit back and think about all the things that I went through, period. The bullshit with my child's father, all the bullshit in relationships and with niggas, and just the general struggle in my life thus far, I think about all of the good seeds that I've sown. All of the times that I've taken the high road. The fact that I've maintained good energy and stayed a genuine person with pure intentions through all of that. I know that I'm going to be blessed. I am blessed. But I know God going to do his big one for me. You feel me? And what else was I going to say? Oh, that's another thing. Just me making this. Like, I was very apprehensive about even speaking about this. And, because somebody's going to be mad that I spoke my truth. But I feel like when you stay silent in situations of injustice or just in your whatever, whenever you stay silent, nobody's ever going to know your side of the story. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of if somebody else got to be the villain or not, you have a right to speak up and speak your truth, period. You know what I'm saying? And then if you don't speak up, you allow people to create a narrative, which is whatever they come up with and whatever they run with. And and that's no. You can have your narrative, but baby, I got one too. And I'm an author. I'm saying that. But and then it's so funny because the other day, I think you're gonna be able to hear this. If I play this little music clip real quick, y'all gonna be able to hear it? Yeah. This was the song that I wrote and recorded in 2019. So at the age of 29. And I just so happened to pull it up the other day and listen to it. And I'm like, this shit hit even harder today. And I got fucking bars. Y'all know I got bars. Stop playing with me. I went crazy on this. Hold on, let's see.
Free game, I'm giving it out. Ain't you lucky, baby girl, I had to figure it out. Life lessons hit hard like a fucking knockout. And I know a lot of shit to be a college dropout. The only thing I needed to free was my mind. Had to go through the fire so I could come out refined. And you can plan or you won't, but your life is designed. Ain't no point in saving seats, cause they all been assigned. If you wanna find love, then you better be healed. Gotta open up your heart and don't leave nothing concealed. And if it ain't meant to be, then it's gonna be revealed. Intuition always right, girl, you know how you feel. Energy exchange is a constant transaction. You gotta learn about yourself and the law of attraction. Everybody ain't good, they might be a distraction. And everything in your life don't need a reaction. I don't wanna fight with y'all, I gotta fight with myself. Cause self-love and self-care is number one on the shelf. I was dealing with some people that was bad for my health. And the only expectations that I got is for self. My life an open book, come and listen to my story. I went through the struggle on my way to the glory. I gotta be successful for my son is mandatory. If you don't mean well, get up out my territory. I got happiness for skin, my energy is a win. I got dealt a bad hand, played it like a violin. Niggas see that I'm grinding, niggas see that I'm shining. And through all the bad shit, I see all silver linings. Walking in my purpose, everything is aligning. So I wake up with a smile and make sure I stay grand rising. I've been waiting for this moment and it's all divine timing. I've been waiting for this moment and it's all divine timing. If you wanna be free, you just gotta have knowledge of self. I'm 29 and I just figured this life shit out. But you ain't ever gonna really figure it out. Cause it ain't no manual to this shit. So listen to your intuition and follow your heart.
That shit hit even harder in 2023 at the age of 33. So again, you know, I don't be wanting to put myself on the chopping block and, you know, feel like I gotta be some type of role model or whatever, or be this perfect person for the world. But God is using me as an example. He's using my experience as an example. You know what I'm saying? I'm a vessel. Jocelyn said, how's it going, friend? Ending it right now, boo. She was supposed to call in. Maybe, I don't know, next week or the week after we could do our little shit. But yeah, that's been the last 8 months of my life. So I'm back to being consistent, back in this thing. I really love this. I love this whole setup. I love this look. This is my vibe. Like, this is great. I hope this shit go viral. Like, this was good. Especially since I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to say, how I wanted to say it, how much I wanted to share. I think it went pretty fucking good. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope y'all took something from this. Make sure that you follow me on all platforms at Healing My Homies. I'm Black Girl Experience on TikTok. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, leave a review on why you love the Black Girl Experience. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube, drop a comment, like this video, share this shit, all of that. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for y'all. I'm out.